Today we're going to be working on my daughter's 2000 Chevy Silverado 1500 with a 5.3 liter motor in it. This particular vehicle she's recently purchased and she loves it, so let's see what we can do with it. It's got a few issues that we're going to work on. One of them is that the oil level sensor is hung. It's basically a float in a dirty oil pan, so over time you can expect this thing's going to get hung up and not work so great. That needs to be dealt with. We need to do a general maintenance. We're going to change the air filter, oil filter, and oil. Excuse this, sorry. The other big issue, and this one's I think pretty interesting from a mechanical perspective, is that this vehicle had a she came home last night and she said, "Dad, it's running rough. I don't understand why, but it was running rough while it was running down the road." And then she stopped, and when she stopped, it was giving her some trouble, and so she brought it home and said, "Dad, can you drive it?" I put my computer code reader on it, set it to live data, and took it for a drive. And it turns out, looks like the engine coolant temperature sensor is going out. Oddly, it was running along about 175 degrees, running fine, and then all of a sudden it just started running like the devil on me. And I looked down at my live data, and the temperature sensor was reading minus 38 degrees Fahrenheit. So one of the ups and downs of computer controlled fuel injection systems is that they believe what they're told. So when it was told minus 38 degrees, and it had previously been 175, well, it tried to adjust the fuel system accordingly, and because it was an unreasonable reading, it didn't do it correctly. So when they work great. When they don't, well, they don't. So we're gonna replace that engine coolant temperature sensor, and I think that should resolve that issue. We also have normal for this particular truck some bad solder joints on the back of the instrument cluster, so we're also going to deal with that. So we'll break it up into a couple of pieces, but this first one is going to be all about that engine temperature sensor, and let's see if we can resolve it. Let's get back to you. All right, well, we told you a while ago we were going to replace the coolant temperature sensor, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Right now what you're looking at is you're looking at the passenger side of the motor. Here's the alternator, of course, and if you look slightly behind and well down below the alternator, here you will see the sensor. Here's a look at the sensor. If I can get it into view here. Here's a look at the sensor, the new sensor that we're going to put in. You can see here's the plug-in, threaded in, has some sealant on it, and then the actual temperature probe. So this is what we're going to put in there, and the first thing we're going to do, which we won't bother you with, is to disconnect the negative battery cable. So we'll do that, and then we'll start on with this thing. Alright, so the negative battery cable is disconnected. Now we're going to reach down here and we're going to try to disconnect this electrical plug. It's got a pull-out type here. Pull out toward on the tab toward the temperature sensor, and it unplugs straight away. Now this thing is a 19 millimeter size, and I think a deep socket worked on the new part. So we're going to hope we can slip a 19 millimeter up onto this temperature sensor and get it out of here. And we can. So temperature sensor's coming out. Now these things do come with a washer. Be sure that your new one has a washer, and also make sure that the old washer comes off with the sensor. That washer can get stuck against the block. Now, as we discussed off camera, this thing's going to now leak water until I get the new sensor installed. So we're going to do this hopefully quite quickly, and we're basically just going to drop the old sensor let it fall away so we can stuff the new sensor in quickly. The washer is on the new one. You can see it right there, little silver metal washer. So we're gonna let the old one fall away and we're gonna stuff the new one in just to minimize the leakage. Alright, so the new one's in. We'll find the old one in a minute. We'll get it started real quick. So again, minimize the coolant loss. We don't necessarily want to go refill this thing right off. I seem to be having a little struggle getting started. There it is. We're started now. So pick up my ratchet. And we screw it in there. Alright, so we're getting tight here. You don't want to overdo it. It is a brass fitting in a steel block, so we're tight enough. Now just to plug in this electrical plug, which is here. And it's got to go in one of two ways. That's the right way, I think. And there it is, plugged in. Pretty quick and easy job on this. This is the 5.3 liter 4-tech motor. Has a fair amount of room to access this. On some motors, you have to take out battery and remove alternator and all those goodies, but luckily for this one we don't. So quick and easy, and hopefully now it'll run steady again. Thanks for watching. I hope this is useful. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.